Hi everyone. Today we're doing a style guide that people ask for constantly, and honestly, I get why. Because Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy has become this North Star for anyone who's ever wanted to look polished without looking like they tried too hard. And I know, her name gets thrown around with quiet luxury and 90s minimalism and clean girl and all of that. But when you actually study what she wore, what's interesting is that it wasn't a trend pile. It was a very specific point of view, repeated over and over, with small changes that made it feel real. And I want to do this properly, not as a Pinterest mood board. I want you to finish this video understanding her logic, why her simplest outfits looked so expensive, why the same few silhouettes keep showing up in photos, and how to translate the vibe into 2026. So let's get into it. There's a reason fashion editors still treat her like a reference image. Vogue has literally described her as the blueprint for that modern fashion editor uniform, sleek separates that don't date. And I think what makes her different from a lot of style icons is that she didn't rely on spectacle. No dramatic prints, no heavy styling, no look-at-me pieces doing all the work. Her outfits were quiet, but they weren't passive. They were precise. When people say minimalism is easy, they're usually confusing simple with good. Minimalism is actually hard because it gives you nowhere to hide. If the coat is slightly off, you see it. If the trousers bunch weirdly, you see it. If the shoe shape is wrong, the whole look collapses. Carolyn's genius was that she built outfits where every line made sense. Also, and this matters, she worked in fashion. She was a Calvin Klein publicist and held senior roles there, which puts her inside a world where fabric, tailoring, and restraint are basically a language. That background shows up in her wardrobe. She dressed like someone who understood construction and editing. Let's talk about her palette. The point is the feeling. Her wardrobe lived in a tight neutral world. Blacks, creams, charcoals, navies, camel tones. But what made it work is that everything stayed in the same volume. Nothing screamed. Even when she wore lighter tones, they read soft and expensive, not bright or crisp in a trendy way. And she didn't do a lot of competing textures. You'll see smooth wool coats, clean knitwear, slip fabrics that move, crisp shirting, matte leather accessories. It's very low noise. It photographs beautifully, it ages well, and it gives the impression that the person wearing it is in control. Her wardrobe mixed high-fashion minimalism, Prada, Helmut Lang, Jill Sander, Yohji Yamamoto, with everyday staples like Levi's, and that combination is a huge clue. She didn't dress like a brand ad. She dressed like herself. When you look at her most iconic street-style moments, the first thing that hits you is the line. A lot of her looks are built around a long, clean outer layer, usually a structured coat that creates this strong vertical shape. That long coat is doing so much work. It frames the body, it simplifies whatever is underneath, and it gives the outfit gravity. There's even hard evidence of how central this was to her wardrobe. Pieces connected to her, like a Prada double-faced wool coat from the late 90s, have been treated as collectible fashion history. Then there are the trousers. Not extreme, not overly wide, not skinny, just tailored, straight, and quiet. Often paired with a simple knit or a clean top. She understood that if the leg line is right, you can wear the simplest top in the world and still look expensive. And the third big silhouette is the slip. Not as party girl, not styled with glitter. The slip for her is basically minimalism in dress form. One clean piece, perfect drape, no fuss. Even her wedding look, that pearl-toned, bias-cut silk crepe dress by Narciso Rodriguez, became iconic, specifically because it refused the typical bridal drama of the time. So if you want the cheat code here, it's this: long lines, controlled proportions, and fabrics that behave. Now I want to talk about something magazines always pick up on with her: the idea of a uniform. It's not that she wore the exact same outfit every day. It's that she repeated a few formulas so consistently that they became her identity. Vogue literally frames her as the face of that pared-back, modern uniform idea. And I love that, because it's actually the most realistic way to build personal style. So here's what her uniform thinking looks like in real life. You pick one hero piece, usually outerwear or a clean silhouette dress, and everything else is in support. Your accessories don't compete. Your hair doesn't compete. The outfit is never trying to do 10 things. It's trying to do one thing perfectly. This is why she's become the symbol for quiet luxury, but I want to be clear. Her look wasn't about price tags. It was about discipline. It's the discipline that reads expensive. Her accessories are one of the most misunderstood parts of her style because people see minimal and they think none. But she absolutely used accessories. She just used them like punctuation, not like a headline. The sunglasses were often slim and understated. The bags were structured and practical in a way that still looked sharp. And then there are the headbands, the famous hard-shell French-style headbands that became part of her signature and are still written about now, including the detail that she stocked up on them at C.O. Bigelow in New York. That one detail is so revealing to me because it's not glamorous. It's specific. It shows that her style was built from real habits, finding a thing that works and buying it repeatedly. That's not influencer behavior. That's personal style behavior. The beauty look matters because it completes the message. Her hair never looked done in a pageant way, but it always looked considered. Smooth, natural, touchable, often with that slightly undone movement that keeps minimal outfits from feeling cold. And makeup was quiet, more about clean skin and subtle definition than color. The overall vibe is, you notice her, not her beauty routine. Let's do a quick reality check, because this is where people mess it up. The mistake is thinking Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy style is just wear neutrals. Because if the fit is off, neutrals will make you look unfinished, not chic. Her looks worked because the shoulder line was right, the trouser break was right, the coat length made sense on her frame. Minimalism is a tailoring game. The second mistake is going too literal. Like, you don't need to recreate a specific paparazzi photo. You need to recreate the balance, structure plus softness, sharp plus calm, polished but not busy. And the third mistake is adding too many quiet luxury signals. Big belts, heavy gold jewelry, overly styled hair, stacked trends, because her outfits were never a performance. They were edited down, not built up. So what we're doing here is building a clean silhouette first, something that creates a long, uninterrupted line. And then we're keeping everything else quiet and tonal, so the shape is the statement. You'll notice how the outfit doesn't rely on prints or logos. It relies on proportion. One piece anchors the look, and everything around it is supporting cast. The accessories stay sharp but minimal, more like punctuation than decoration. And the overall finish is polished, but not overworked. It's that very specific balance where you look expensive, but also like you didn't spend an hour thinking about it. And if you want this to feel modern, the key is fit and fabric. You can keep the same clean idea, but update the cut so it matches how you like to dress now. The vibe isn't retro, the vibe is edited. There's also an interesting cultural layer here. Her wardrobe has become so iconic that pieces associated with her have literally entered the collector world, with Sotheby's auctions and major fashion publications covering them as fashion artifacts, not just celebrity items. That doesn't happen unless the style has real staying power. And Vogue's point, that her look basically crystallized that modern minimalist uniform, is why her influence doesn't fade. She's not a micro-trend, she's a framework. And that's what makes her style so enduring. It never depended on trends, only on taste. Clean lines, strong silhouettes, and knowing exactly when to stop. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful outfits are the quietest ones in the room. I hope this gave you fresh inspiration and a few ideas you can actually bring into your own wardrobe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments who you'd like to see next in this series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.